The views and opinions expressed in the DILLIGAF podcast are those of the host alone and are not intended to express those of any other person, business, or entity. The DILLIGAF podcast is for entertainment only. These are my opinions and should not be interpreted as facts or advice. Think for yourself.
Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah. I think that we've all had enough.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the DILLIGAF podcast, talking about anything and everything that interests me. If it makes me think, laugh, cry, scream, rage, or say what the fuck, you'll hear about it. My name's Tom. I'm your host. Thank you to everybody for checking out the show on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe, share, rate, comment, all that kind of fun stuff. Make sure you're following on social media. It's at DILLIGAF_pod on all socials. And you can find all that and more on my Linktree, which is Linktree/DILLIGAFpod, or scan the little QR code right there in the corner of the screen. Actually, that's Linktree/DILLIGAF_pod, or scan the QR code right there, and you'll find all the links to all the podcast platforms and all that kind of good stuff. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's dilligafpod@gmail.com. So, been away for a little bit again. Hey, what can I say? That's life. But yeah, today got an interesting topic today, and I think it's very relevant to the world that we currently live in. And we are talking about 10 levels of information. And let's just dive right in here with what I consider to be the lowest level of information. And that's a lie. Just a straight up lie. And the dictionary definition of a lie, an intentionally false statement. Somebody is telling you something that is completely false for the mainly for the purpose of deceiving you. It's the lowest form of communication, and yeah, just think about a majority of the shit that comes out of Washington, D.C. these days. And yeah, it's just something that's used by just devious people and just unintelligent people most of the time too. Let's be real. Next would be an opinion. And again, the dictionary definition of an opinion, a view or judgment formed about something not necessarily based in fact or knowledge. That's the important part there. It's just what somebody thinks. It's their opinion. Like something is good or bad. That's their opinion. There's no objectivity there. Completely 100% subjective. It's just a matter of they either like or don't like something. It has no basis in fact whatsoever. And most of the time it's completely irrelevant to anything. And people love to say, well, I'm entitled to my opinion. My response to that is fuck you and your opinion. And I mean, everybody's going to have an opinion on everything. Thing is, no, you're not entitled to an opinion. Or more accurately, you're not entitled for that opinion to carry any weight. That's what you're not entitled to. Like a lot of people want to have opinions about the way other people live their lives. Oh, that's wrong, or you shouldn't be doing those things. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Your opinion, while you're perfectly entitled to have that opinion, doesn't matter. And that's the thing. People want to think they're so much more important than they are. They think their opinion should carry so much weight and people should listen to them. No, you're not entitled to any of that. You're entitled to have that thought because it popped into your little pea brain, but that's about it. That's all you're entitled to. Next up is an idea. Dictionary definition, a thought or suggestion as to a possible course of action. And ideas, well, hell, ideas are what make society progress and move forward. Without ideas, we wouldn't have technology in general. We'd still be living in the Stone Ages trying to figure out how to make a wheel. So ideas are integral to human evolution. But there's so many people out there that are afraid of new ideas. They don't want to see things move forward. They want things to just stay the way they are or move backwards. And those are conservatives. Um, Ideas are what keep our species thriving and moving forward and surviving. And every great invention, every great innovation in whatever field you want to talk about, be it technology or medicine or whatever, every great advancement or innovation started with an idea. So ideas may be one of the most important types of information for humanity. Next, we have belief, an acceptance that a statement is true or that something exists. Just you simply believe in something. You believe in Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy or a deity of some kind, whatever it might be. You hold that belief. And this ties into the next one that I have, which is faith, which is complete trust or confidence in someone or something, unquestioning. And the reason I say these tie in specifically in a religious context, let's be real. Belief and faith are tied together in that respect, and a belief can be changed. Like if somebody says they don't believe in something, they, that belief can be changed by showing them that whatever it is they don't believe in actually does exist or actually did happen or something like that. Faith, in my mind, is much more dangerous because, as the definition says, it's unquestioning. Doesn't matter what kind of evidence you show this person or what kind of logical reasoning you use, you can't change faith. That to me is terrifying because so many people throughout history have been killed in the name of faith because it is unquestioning, it's unwavering. It's nope, this is how it is. This is what I believe in. This is where my faith is at. Nah. And faith to me is a scary thing. That may be the most dangerous level for what we're talking about here. And up next is the complete opposite of faith, I think, and that's knowledge. Information, understanding, or skill acquired through experience or education. You've sought out information. You're not just taking it on faith. You don't want to just believe. You want to know. You want to have that knowledge of whatever it might be, that something is real or not, that something is true or not, that something exists or not. So you seek it out to gain the knowledge. You don't just simply rely on faith or your own opinion. And it goes, yeah, knowledge to me is the next step after an idea. You have an idea, then you go to seek out the knowledge to bring that idea to life. Next up is wisdom. Ability to apply knowledge, experience, and judgment to make sound decisions with an understanding of human nature and consequences. Now, a lot of people think age equals wisdom. Bullshit. Has nothing to do with age. It has to do with experience. But it's a combination of experience and knowledge. You use your experience, your education, your just things that you've observed throughout life to make a decision. Wisdom is what prevents people from repeating past mistakes. Again, I'll go to a lot of the bullshit coming out of DC. There is no wisdom to be found in the current administration. Not a bit. Because If there was, we wouldn't be dealing with half the shit we're dealing with right now if there was any kind of wisdom. Because like I just said a minute ago, wisdom is what prevents people from making past mistakes, from repeating past mistakes, and oh man, we're about to repeat some really, really, really big ones. Next up is logic, something that a lot of people are very afraid of. Reasoning conducted or assessed according to strict principles of validity. Logic is a very simple concept. All it means is something makes sense. I'll use the example of religion in this one. The the existence of a deity as described in any religious text, I'm not singling out any specific religion. I'm talking about all of them. The existence of any kind of deity to me does not make sense. The religious texts that are out there make no sense. There's never been any evidence of worldwide flood ever, anywhere. None. A lot of ancient cultures have myths and stories about floods, but there's no evidence that it ever actually happened. So that just doesn't make sense to me. A flood that wiped out the entire population of the world and left what, like 7 people alive? No. That just makes no logical sense. The idea of someone dying and being resurrected 3 days later makes no sense. There's no logic there. And again, no evidence. A lot of people like to claim that there is. There is not. Any claim of evidence for any of this stuff has been debunked time and again by archaeologists and anthropologists and historians, and there's just no logic whatsoever to be found in any religion. It is all 100% based on faith, which we talked about earlier. There's you can't have both, in my opinion. Again, opinion. What the show is based on. But yeah, so logic, logic and faith are to me completely in opposition of each other. Next up is truth. And a lot of people confuse truth and fact. Because something is true does not always mean it's factual. I'm going to explain because there are 4 types of truth. And a lot of people won't accept this, but it's true. It's factual. This particular truth is factual. Look it up for yourself. There are 4 types of truth. There is objective truth, based on facts and independent of individual belief. That's objective truth. An objective truth would be the sky is blue. Subjective truth, based on personal belief and experience. As the name would imply, it's the opposite of objective truth. Like for a devoutly Christian person, Jesus Christ was the Son of God. That to them is truth, but it's completely based on their personal beliefs. So and of course, me being the Star Wars nerd that I am, I have to throw out there, truth is a point of view. In this particular case, subjective truth is a point of view. Let's look at World War II. You know, the the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, Japan, they thought they were the good guys. The Allies thought we were the good guys. From their own specific points of view, both things were true. Then we have what's called normative truth, based on what should be or a social ideal. A good example of this, of normative truth, would be everyone's entitled to food and shelter and healthcare and things like that. That's to me would be truth. I do think everyone's entitled to those things. To an asshole Republican, they would argue To for them, the normative truth in that would be people are not entitled to those things. People should have to work for those things. It's true to each person. And again, it's subjective. And then lastly, we have complex truth, a practical, context-dependent truth that is often the result of collective inquiry. So context dependent depends on the situation. That basically in its own little bubble there. Complex truth, but people don't make those distinctions when it comes to truth a lot of the time. Like I said, a subjective truth that a devoutly religious person believes that Jesus was the Son of God. To them, that is truth and that is unquestionable because it's based on their faith. But that's not an objective truth. It's just not objective truth. To me, would be the highest form of truth because it is based in fact and does not account for an individual belief or individual opinion. And lastly, we come to facts. An event known to have happened or something known to have existed. Objective, verifiable, can be tested and proven. Facts are indisputable. Doesn't matter what you believe, doesn't matter what your feelings are, doesn't matter what your opinion is. A fact is a fact, period. Like I see a lot on TikTok of religious people arguing with atheists that about, oh, you can't see gravity, but you still believe in it. No. Gravity doesn't care if you believe in it or not. It's simply a fact. It simply is. And they always want to talk about, well, you can't prove gravity. I can't. Oh, look, gravity. It's a fact. You can't argue against it. It's been tested, it's been proven over and over and over again, especially scientific facts or what would be referred to as scientific theories. That's another thing. People have no idea what a scientific theory actually is. They think a theory is just a guess. No, the guess part is the hypothesis. The theory is the end result of research and testing and repeating over and over and over again, multiple times by multiple different people. Like one person comes up with the hypothesis, proves their theory, it has to be tested by another group of people and another group of people. That's what peer review is. And a scientific theory is pretty much as close as you can get to fact. But people love to use that as an argument. Oh, it's a theory of gravity or a theory of evolution. Yes, a scientific theory that has been researched and proven, and it doesn't care if you understand it or not, and your belief is irrelevant, means nothing when it comes to fact. The fact is all this evidence that so many people like to say, oh, they found Noah's Ark, they found Jesus' tomb. No, they didn't. That has been debunked time and again. It is not fact. It is a lie. Simple as that. A lie and a fact are polar opposites on this scale of information that I've been going through. And that's just how it is. And that's why I always like to say I prefer to deal in facts. Except for on the show. Like I said, this is all about my opinions. But I like to deal in facts. I like to deal in things that are quantifiable and can be proven and can be tested and retested and proven again and again and again. That's how I prefer to have things. So that's pretty much it for the 10 levels of information. We've got lie, opinion, idea, belief, faith, knowledge, wisdom, Logic, truth, and fact. And a lot of people confuse truth with fact, and that it annoys the hell out of me because they think they're the same thing and they are not. Because truth is a point of view, fact is proven, it's undisputable, indisputable. Either way, it can't be disputed. And the last little thing I want to throw in here is just a little quote, I guess. I'm not sure who coined this, but basically what it says is a fact is objective information. An opinion is a personal belief. Ignorance is lack of facts, and stupidity is a rejection of facts in favor of opinions. There's a lot of ignorance and stupidity going around the world these days, and most of it is coming out of the White House at the moment. But we're not going to get into that discussion right now because it'll end up being a 3-hour show. But I guess my whole point of doing this topic is if people would stop and think and listen a little bit more instead of being so concerned with their own opinions and beliefs and wanting other people to conform to their opinions and beliefs, if they would stop and think and listen, this world would probably be a whole lot better of a place. But it goes back to everybody likes to think they're more important than they actually are, and that their opinion and their beliefs should hold so much weight and should be the way that everybody else sees the world. They want everybody to see the world exactly the same way that they do and live the way that they do and walk and talk and dress and eat and sleep and work exactly the way that they do. How fucking boring would this world be if it was like that? But people don't want to stop and think and listen. They want to scream their opinions and try to force them down other people's throat. And to that, I say, go fuck yourself. You and your opinion. So I think that's gonna do it for us for this week. Like I said, I know I've been away for quite a while this time. I yeah, took a little vacation, went to Vegas for a week. Yeah, damn. Maybe I'll talk about that the next Freestyle Friday that I do, but let's just say that is not a road trip that I will be taking again. But yeah, I went to Vegas for a week and just been busy with working and other family stuff going on, good family stuff, I gotta say. But yeah, and the podcast just kind of got put on the back burner for a little while, but I'm back. I need and want to be more consistent with this because I do want to grow the viewership of the show, and the only way to do that is to be consistent with putting out episodes and promoting on social media and just getting it out there. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So hopefully you guys will come along for the ride. But again, I appreciate everybody for checking out the show, for watching, listening on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you find us at. And make sure again to follow, like, subscribe, share, rate, comment, all that kind of fun stuff. It really does help the show out as far as searches and things like that. Make sure you're following on social media. It's at DILLIGAF_pod. And you can find all that on my Linktree, which is Linktree/DILLIGAF_pod, or scan the QR code right there in the corner of the screen if you're watching the video. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's dilligafpod@gmail.com. So that is going to wrap me up for this week. Thank you again to everybody watching or listening. And as always, if anyone has any issues with anything that I have said here today, ask yourself one question. Do I look like I give a fuck?
'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution.